Good afternoon, I appreciate y'all coming again. Since this is my last presentation, I really do appreciate y'all coming and supporting my education. I appreciate that very much, and like I said, there's cakes over there, and there's drinks over there to, if you get thirsty or hungry. Today we're going to be talking about basic EKGs and axis deviation. You're not going to be an expert on reading 12 leads because there's a lot more that goes to it than this. I'm just giving you the basic overview of it, and then you have to go into more repetitive practicing with the 12 leads and getting them out and marking them out. Okay, first thing we want to talk about is the objectives. Our objective today is paramedic history, ECG monitoring, basic cardiology, lead placement, axis deviation, and 12 leads and stems. Back in the old days, and I'm sure plenty of y'all seen this show back in the old days. This was my favorite show. This is the reason why I became a paramedic. I was watching this when I was little. Got ready to get laid off from Freightliner, and when I got laid off from Freightliner, I thought, well, would it be a good idea to go to school for this and actually become a paramedic? So, good Lord worked that out, and so I could do this. Right here we have Johnny Gage and Mr. DeSoto. And back then, they used to have to do the EKG on the box, and what did they do? They picked up the phone and said, Rampart. They'd say, go ahead, 51. And they'd say, I am sending you an EKG strip at this time. And that's the way they done it back in the old days. This is pretty much when they first got started out in this. So that was pretty much how they communicated. Like I said, transcript to the doctor. There he is. And he's always got that look on his face like he's confused. If you ever noticed that, when you look at him, every time he looks like he's confused. Never understood that one. Okay, I'm going to pull this up. I got a little video for you to watch. It's a little bit on the history of EMS. And a lot of stuff that I probably didn't know until I started researching this. But,
I don't think that they really thought that was going to ever work. I mean, we're talking about 25 black men. That's how it started. It was 25 of us.
In order to achieve change, and this is what we're after, there has to be conflict.
Back in the 60s, when you called the ambulance, the police came.
Policemen were in charge of taking people to the hospital.
And they would put the person on that little stretcher and throw them in the back of the paddy wagon, slam the door, and go as fast as they can. People were dying from this.
We are aiming for a training program for ambulance attendants under the direct supervision of physicians.
Freedom House was a program to hire the unemployable, some of the alcoholic and drug abuse people that they wanted to get off the streets.
The Hill District is the #1 poverty area in the city, with the largest number of underprivileged.
I know the type of house that ambulance driver. So I said to myself, ambulance driver, what is this like? Whether it was chauffeur for sick people.
And we went to school, we went to be trained, and we did an excellent job.
You were starting IVs in the field, doing tracheal intubation in the field.
We were the ones who changed all emergency medical services. We became the standard.
There are times why people couldn't get an ambulance. You couldn't get an ambulance into a lot of communities. We're last on the list to get service.
We look at the time, 1967, of course, there were rebellions, 68 the killing of Dr. King.
Black power is born. Young blacks with no patience for King's nonviolence. And there are riots, burning, looting, rock throwing.
We got to leave our lights on inside the police building so they could see who we were. Otherwise, out there, they're going to break the windshields out, and we're probably just right out the finger. But they knew about freedom.
Once people realized that we were in the help, they had no problem.
There was a whole argument as to whether Freedom House could cover the entire city because it was perceived that the people who the African American community receiving a much higher standard of care in emergency situations than other communities were in some cities.
Because that we were black, we went into some of the different neighborhoods and people weren't ready for that.
I remember the political fight around the future of the new house.
The mayor decided to put his own service in the system, in opposition pretty much in 1975.
How can I be nice about this? He really didn't like field house. That's being blunt.
You know, when you can take something from nothing and make something out of it, everybody else wants to get in on the play.
I want to emphasize how we were used. It was a lot
Okay,
of dirty
people
involved.
jump in on there.
Nobody wants to talk about that. There was money taken, there was money stolen, it was to the advantage of a lot of people. And I know this occurred, but you won't get nobody to admit it.
Here was something that black people in his high fear was taken up by the government, and then the next thing you know, taken away from us.
The city was cutting legs right out from under us.
Everybody advanced, everybody prospered, everybody made out, but not us. We were just like the field hands.
Now, if you see right there, that they started out, they had, they gave them a chance to have a job. They also gave them a chance to, some of them places, they didn't care who they seen. They was ready to pull them out of vans and hit them and beat them and stuff like that. But they knew these guys were coming to help, so it was sort of a win-win for them. So that's how they started out in the paramedic part. Monitors. Anybody remember these old monitors? Everybody ever seen these? Especially sometimes you still see them in the hospitals and the doctor's office. That's the ones where you pull them out, charge them up. Clear! You know, that's usually the way those work. But they used these for a long time and they're still using some of them today. We used to have one on Squad 45, something similar to that. Then they got a little bit more sophisticated. Now, over in Rowan, they use the Phillips. This is the monitors they use over at Rowan. And I've used both of them. I like how this one works, but I work on this one I work on Iredale, and I really like this one. Very good monitor. The only thing is, a lot of times on your cords and stuff, they jingle a little bit, and that can give you cause for problems with your artifacts. That means instead of getting a pretty 12 lead, you're getting that in the middle of it. So that's what we've come to about now. Now let's talk about normal conduction system. And what I'm talking about here is your electrical system inside that makes your heart beat. So when we talk about the SA node, AV node, right bundle, branch, left, all these down the right side, skinny fibers, that fascicula and bundle of his. I've got a video on it that I will show. This guy's real good. If you listen to him, you won't get a lot out
Here's
of it.
a diagram of the 4 chambers of the heart. So let's name them to get started. So we've got the right. Atrium up here. We've got the right ventricle down here. We've got the left atrium and the left ventricle. So these are the 4 chambers. And blood is going to flow through all of them and then get out to the body. So to do this and to do this right, the heart has got to coordinate how it squeezes. And we know that it kind of squeezes.
Trying to be aggravating to me right now. I'll look up again. Alright, while he's getting that video going, I'm going to talk to you a little bit
Here's
more.
a diagram of the four chambers of the heart. Diagram of the four chambers of the heart. So let's name them. Let's name them. We've got the right atrium, the right atrium, we've got the rear ventricle, we've got the right ventricle down, we've got the left atrium, got the left atrium, and the left ventricle. So these are the four chambers. And blood is chambers.
Alright, let's get that done. As far as the SA node, everything usually goes up to the SA node, and unless we got something, there it goes, he's got it.
Here's a diagram of the four chambers of the heart. So let's name them to get started. So we've got the right atrium up here, we've got the right ventricle down here, we've got the left atrium and the left ventricle. So these are the four chambers. And blood is going to flow through all of them and then get out to the body. So to do this and to do this right, the heart has got to coordinate how it squeezes. And we know that the way that it kind of squeezes down is you have a cell, and that cell is usually negatively charged, and it will at some point become more positively charged. And we call that process depolarization, right? The depolarization is the idea